Welcome back everybody, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity, where we left off last time. We had just finished talking about all of the gods, and now we're going to go talk to this giant crystal here.
Well, a brothel for the aged.
Well, that was actually pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. So which god was the one that was closest to us? I think it was that one god of death. It wasn't Hylia. Magran was pretty close to our alignment. The god of cold, there we go. Rimgrand. He was the Arak, I believe, right? Yeah, bone white Arak skull. I'm guessing that's the Arak skull right there. Let's quick save and wander over to that one, I guess.
I'll take care of it.
How do I, I'm not really sure how to do anything about it.
Well,
There we go. In the nearby constellation, you can make out the shape of a strange horned beast. From time to time, you think you sense a faint chill emanating from the shrine itself. Pray to Rimgrand. You kneel before the shrine and prepare to recite the ritual words. Oh god, I have no idea. All life ends in stillness. You feel a sudden gust of cold air, as if the shrine were bursting into wintry life. The frigid wind cuts through you like a sharpened blade, and darkness encroaches upon the edges of your sight. You kneel and close your eyes. As you pray, the blackness fades to white, and a howling wind fills your ears. The vision that slowly resolves itself is of a broad, frozen plain. You see a procession of elves in the distance, periodically fading into and emerging from the whiteness. They trudge over snowbanks, their heads down against the driving winds. As they trek past you, one man bundled in furs turns his head. You headed for Noonfrost, and the frost-hewn breach too? Before you can answer, he's lumbered ahead. You follow the caravan, and in a couple minutes you come to a wall of ice. It disappears into the pale emptiness overhead, and stretches as far as you can see in either direction. The elves stop in front of a mirror smooth section that's framed like a temple door. It seems somehow thinner than the rest of the wall. You can't see what's on the other side, but a debilitating cold emanates from within. So in this vision, we are wildlings, and we are approaching the wall in northern Westeros. Excellent. The elves pull pickaxes and shovels from their sealskin packs and begin hacking at the smooth ice, their implementations flying through the air in swift, shining arcs. So we're breaking through one of the sealed doors near one of the abandoned castles. I gotcha. Though they throw their bodies into the labor, not one of them so much as scratches the polished ice, yet with each blow, something bellows in the distance. Idir calls out to the elves, "Hey, you might want to hold off on that," but that howling wind seems to swallow up his voice. Pelagina's head whips up to see what the bellowing is coming from. Forget about the elves. We need to be ready to move. She turns to face you, flexing her hands in the cold air. Or fight. The elves hack away, seemingly oblivious to the furious lowing, and the tremors under your feet. The snow has risen to your knees. Your legs feel frozen in the drifts. I'm gonna try and get their attention. You grab the nearest elf by the shoulder, shaking her and yelling over the howling winds. You point in the direction of the booming noise, but she only scowls. "Leave us, traveler. We've got to get through. We can't stay on this side any longer." I'm gonna kill the elves. You strike the nearest elf, and he crumbles into a mound of snow. You attack another, and she falls just as easily. While you cut down the elves around you, their fellows continue cleaving at the ice, working faster. Even their redoubled efforts seem futile. When the last of the elves falls, the bellowing finally ceases, and the wind dies down. The final gale blows past, scattering the remains of the elves in a chaotic flurry. You notice a single spiderweb crack in the smooth barrier. It is the only thing that mars the perfect surface of the ice. Whatever's on the other side of the strange doorway, you feel it tugging at you. Only when you look back and see the parallel gashes trailing behind your legs in the snow do you realize how strong its pull is.
my end comes to all things in time. Seal the frost-hewn breach and instruct the pilgrims in the patience of Rimgrand.
I will plug the hole with a handful of snow. You fill your hand with snow and shove it into the crack. It hardens instantly, and a hoary rime goes over the smooth surface of the frozen doorway, fusing it with the rest of the wall. When you take your hand away, a perfect crystal of ice remains in your palm. As you examine the crystal, the vision around you fades, but the unmelting shard of ice remains in your hand. Well, that's awesome. Oh, we also have a new grand adventure. So let's assign somebody to the task. You! Oh, Grieving Mother is with us still. Excellent, she can go do that. Later. I wonder if we should try to do other wishes. Let's see what this ice thing, though, is. I'm really curious. What did we get? Hang on. We got glowing ice shard was added to the stash. Was it like a quest item? Oh, it is a quest item. I thought it'd be something cool, like loot. Alright, let's quick save. Let's go find another one. We need to talk to Hylia as well, for sure. Because we have to besiege for the dragon. This shrine sits before a bright constellation. It starts forming the oval shape of an egg. A pair of wings sprout from the egg, stretching it to either side. You step before the shrine and prepare to recite the ritual words. I want to do live every note of life song. Nope, that's not the one I like. No, strength from within, like all things can be reforged. Maybe it is live every note of life song. That one? Your words seem to ring in the air, and your voice rendered melodic and lilting by some unseen art. You kneel. While you pray, you feel the space around your body shift and melt, and you find yourself in a vision atop the in a vision of the mountaintop temple. Yet you see neither worshippers nor a dragon, but a tree. Its limbs wrap around the perimeter of the temple, tapering into twigs and branches of all sizes and angles. They seem too long and too numerous to be held up by the meager trunk, but they hold steady in the breeze. A single sparrow lands on the nearest branch and watches you. I seek an audience with Hylia. The sparrow cocks its head in that particular bird-like fashion. I'll whistle at the bird. You whistle the first tune that pops into your head. The sparrow blinks, its beady eyes, and hops closer to you along the branch. It bobs its tiny head and opens its beak, and the rich trilling melody that spills forth is the song of a chorus of birds. A massive flock descends with a thundering of wings and whooping, screeching, chirping calls. They fill the boughs of the tree by the thousands, birds of every shape, size, and color nestling next to one another. Pelagina sighs heavily. To be honest, I really can't stand birds. A breeze ripples through the air, the limbs sway, crackling with a strange, gentle rhythm. A few hundred of the birds flit from their branches, forming a brilliantly variegated flock in front of the tree. As they meet and swoop in unison, you catch a glimpse of someone looking back at you, cloaked by the flurry of feathers. Look there, the mantle of feathers. We are in the court of birds, and there stands the Sky Mother.
You journeyed to my temple and found the dragon. Yet instead of driving it off, you allowed it to stay. The songs of my faithful will never again fill the nest, and the beast and her young will slaughter many to feed their hunger.
Dragons, like your birds, are creatures of the skies. Every life bears a cost.
Yes, and each should create wonders of commensurate value. What does a dragon create?
Beauty, great and powerful and colorful, they are a marvel to behold.
Their might inspires countless songs and tales, and the span of their wings fills canvases across Aora. And you are one whose soul is filled with the same passionate energy. Indeed, you are the right person to end this tragedy.
I came to you for aid. I need to get to Sun and Shadow. The bird returns to the tree and nestles among their peers. The breeze ripples through the branches, again carrying the goddess's voice.
Yes, but not only to stop Theos, to undo the tragedy he has wrought.
Birds all over the tree begin to chirp and sing, and in the rise and fall of their voices Hylia speaks. Theos acts, but is moved by another. The exiled queen whispers in his ear, urges him to rob the living and the unborn of their souls for her benefit, and he has obeyed. Sorry, I can't do Hylia's voice. She sounds really cool. The hawk sits on its perch. She will consume them, grow powerful while 1,000 empty children are born. But there is still time to reverse this tragedy. Why would Wadaka do this? A pair of eagles shriek, because she prizes authority over mercy, laws over kith. She values the souls of the mortals not for the beauty they create, but for what they can add to her power. The wind blows. She fears animancy. She believes that mortals may use it to usurp the god's power, her power. She cares nothing for the innovation of Kith, and how could she? She gives commands, not inspiration. So animancy truly is that powerful. Kana looks thoughtful. I've always respected the commands of our Ragna, Nui, and the Keepers, but that is because they inspire respect. Between command and inspiration lies progress. How could I return things to the way they were? The birds suddenly fall silent, watching you. The voice on the wind returns. Guide the trapped souls back to the bodies they were stolen from, hollow-born children whose eyes have never seen the sun. You could restore them, give their families hymns of joy after years of lament. The breeze tickles your ear. Peace and restoration give purpose to suffering. There is no meaning, no redemption in pain that does not lead to fulfillment. Symmetry demands that great rejoice follow suffering such as this. Thank you, Hylia. I will continue to Sun and Shadow.
When you reach the burial isle, you will find souls there that I have granted reprieve for their sins. I give these to you, for only they can bear you to safety on your journey down. And when you face Theos and the rotting fruits of his endeavors, remember the conversation we have had. In that moment, you will have power rivaling a god's. And after it, you will live in the world that you have chosen.
That's probably not a good thing. Just saying.
Choose Restoration, Watcher. Return the souls to the bodies they were stolen from. Swear to me that you will do this, and I shall give you power to make even Woodica quake. I can be merciful and terrible, Watcher.
Great wings dark against the sun unfold behind the tree, causing a blinding shadow across the temple for the briefest of moments. I would hear what the other gods have to say first.
Wait, I'm not done with you.
Pallegina steps forward inside the flock of birds. Birds wheel and pivot, showing a flash of pale feathers. Who is this that speaks in anger? You owe Pallegina some answers. There is a pause as the birds settle on the branches and regard Pallegina. Questions flutter and circle in her mind. Let her ask what she will.
It's not often that any of our kind get the chance to speak to their... What should I call you? My mother? Father? Those words seem to fall short and yet be too generous, given our history.
The birds cock their heads, craning and twisting the nets look at each other. You are angry with me?
What did you expect? Should I be happy? To be like this? To live like this? What kind of creator does this to her creation and abandons it in a world this cruel?
And should I have plucked you from your home, wrapped you in my wings, and brought you to a nest like this one? Some tranquil and harmonious place far from the war chants and battle dances you love so well? The hawk shivers, ruffling its feathers. Tell me what you want.
All I've ever wanted from any of your kind is to take some responsibility. Any responsibility for what you've done. To us. To every one of the children you've abandoned.
The birds flap their wings, rising from the branches. You are a song of ferocity and one I love well. I hear your fervor and rage, and it is music. Your prowess and valor leave a trail like a tapestry upon the world. I would not dampen your song, even with the comfort of my wings.
What does that mean? Come back here!
There is no response. Pallegina's fists clench in frustration. I didn't say nothing.
I should have known I'd never get any answers out of her. I'm done.
Exasperated, she throws up her hands. Alright. I guess next god time. Berath. Hey, wait, did we position to the dragon? Is that done now? That's to define Noon Frost, apparently. Bring the spark to Furgo. We still have to do that. I forgot about that. Dream and Memory. We haven't done that yet. We also haven't done this one yet. Endless Path we haven't done yet. Cadnoa we haven't done yet. Durance about Woodica we haven't done that one quite yet, but soon. And we have to go back to Defiance Bay and talk and do the records thing. Okay. We did earn some divine favor already, but let's just continue to speak with the gods a little. I'm just curious to see what they have to say. In the glittering stars of a nearby constellation, you see the grim shape of a skull. Its jaws are open wide, as if frozen in a silent scream. There is life and death and life. There's a rippling shift in the air around you, as if some unfelt wind has changed, bringing unexpected warmth. You feel the peculiar weight of an unseen presence and of eyes upon you. You kneel and pray to Berath. Even while your eyes are closed, you see a road that seems to stretch on forever. The stars wheel overhead in a clockwork rotation of constellations, disappearing over the horizon to your left, only to rise again on your right. You try to make out the details on either side of the road, but your eyes can't seem to focus. One moment you think you see a meadow blanketed with mist, and another sheer canyon walls. For just an instant, you even see waves lapping at the edges of the road. Were you to step on the shifting landscape, you feel certain you would only end up back on the road. You know this is a vision, but the packed dirt feels firm beneath your feet, and the night air cool on your face. You are walking. Your feet seem to carry you forward of their own accord. Something looms ahead of you. As you get closer, you see two stone figures that look strangely familiar. The two faces of Sirono, what we call Berath. She shudders slightly, her feathers ruffling as she peers at the figures with apprehension. You remember the door to Cleban Relag, and the two figures carved into the mountain next to it. One looks vaguely male, and the other vaguely female. Only a thin layer of flesh covers their skeletal bodies, which twist to face the doorway between them. This doorway, however, is not what you saw in the ruins. It is a skull, gaping and jawless, and as you look on, its open mouth seems to grow. The arms of the two stone sculptures are swept towards the mouth, inviting you in. Sure, why not? Let's enter the skull's mouth. The road continues through the maw to another shifting landscape surrounded by stars. As you pass through it, you see an identical doorway in the distance. A dwarven man stands near it, unmoving. You turn and look behind you, only to see the skull gate you just passed facing you. An elven woman waits in the road. Like the dwarf, she stands still. Let's approach the elven woman. You start towards her. There's something unnatural about the way she stands. She's too still. When you get closer, you see that her legs taper into a slender trunk, and in place of her feet are gnarled, twisting roots. She lifts her face to an invisible sun. Her long golden hair is the color of autumn leaves, and as you look more closely, you realize that her head is actually covered with tendrils and vines, spreading brilliant yellow leaves. Each glimmers with the essence of an entire soul. She gives you a beatific smile. As you look on, the leaves slowly fall from her head and settle at her roots. They melt into the path beneath her, and almost immediately, new leaves sprout in the place of the old. She reaches towards you, still smiling as roots spring from her fingertips. Her outstretched arm bars the path. Come, graft your soul to the golden grove. I'll take her hand, why not? Her roots twine around your fingers, and as they do, they grow rigid and cold. Her outstretched arm petrifies, and as a rough stone bark overtakes her flesh, she can only look on in horror. You break away from her brittle grasp. Her feet are rooted in place, but she twists and writhes as if trying to flee her own dying limb. The petrification reaches her shoulder and spreads down her body, freezing in a painful arc. It creeps up her neck, and she throws her face skyward like a drowning swimmer. The grayness covers her face, freezing her gasp in stone. Now that she is still enlightened this, you can continue past her. Only the golden leaves on her head remain untouched, and as you watch, they fall one by one onto the path below. They shrivel as the shimmering essence fades from them. You lift your gaze and see the dwarven man standing further down the road. It's to the dwarf. You continue down the road towards him. He looks up as you approach, but you can't tell if he's looking through you or at you. His face is smooth and flaccid, as if the flesh has been detached from the muscles underneath. As you look on, the face begins to change. Wrinkles crack at the corner of his eyes. His mouth sinks, carving deep lines from his nose to the corners of his lips. His jowls sag, and the loose flesh hangs like dough. He raises his cupped hands. They're covered in blood. He lifts them to his face and smears himself from his newly creased forehead to the wattles of his neck. As he massages the dark, sticky fluid into his skin, the flesh wrinkles disappear. The hanging folds recede, and flesh tightens as if re-adhering to his skull. He lifts his head, and this time you know he's looking back at you. His renewed face looks like a mask, artificially smooth and still. Behind it, his black eyes are two hungry pits yawning like the empty mouth of skulls. Come, make your sacrifice to the Ethic Null. His body blocks the path. He extends a bloody hand towards you. We'll kill him. You strike out and are surprised at how easily his flesh gives way beneath your blow. It rips like dried canvas, following a long seam that begins at his arm and stretches the length of his body. Blood gushes forth in such quantities you can't imagine there was ever anything else in him. Sure enough, as the dwarf empties of blood, he collapses like a desiccated husk. The blood in the path gleams with 1,000 souls worth of essence. The essence evaporates, trailing shining filaments into the night sky. Only now that he is dead can you continue onward. The blood pools around your feet, and a voice echoes along the road, barely more than a whisper on the breeze. Return them to the wheel. You look up to see the skull gate in front of you. The candles of Tyr Everon wink through the open mouth. And we'll leave. Did we do it wrong? Oh, I see. Okay. So we have to go kill those people that have extended their lives forever. If we want his blessing. Let's go see these guys. I guess we have... Okay, so Hylia, Berath. This one could have been Rimgrad, Andra, or Skane. We prayed to Rimgrad instead. We can only pray to Galleon here. Who was Galleon again? Shoot, I forgot who Galleon was. Alright, back to the books. Wrong one. Galleon. There we go. He's the hunter. Okay. Galleon. We want something like... Survival begins with strength from within. The air around you stirs and a gust of warm wind blows across the back of your neck. You catch the faintest smell of wet earth. As you kneel in front of the shrine, you feel yourself pushed forward. You catch yourself on your hands and knees, feeling warm, damp ground beneath them. Looking around, you find yourself crouched in a clearing in the middle of the woods. The smell of dirt hangs heavy in the air. Behind you is a darkened room, filled with candlelit shrines. Ahead you hear the howl of some kind of hound. You feel certain this is a vision, but the hairs on the nape of your neck still rise. I will howl back. The beast bays in response, its voice high and clear. The thick undergrowth shivers with movement, and heavy paws pound the wet grass. You're not certain if the creature is hunting or leading you, but you instinctively give chase. As you tumble through the dew-speckled bushes and clawing branches, each stride feels longer than the last. You draw lungfuls of crisp, clear air and feel your energy renewed. The rhythm of your stride and the thumping of the beast's paws drive the blood thrumming in your ears. I actually had a dream like that for real once, except I wasn't like chasing a beast. I was jogging home from Mac's convenience store with a Slurpee in my dream, and I just like started every like step I took, or every jogging step I took, I got faster and faster until I like was covering yards with entire steps, and eventually I just like was going so fast I could go faster than cars. It was awesome. Coolest dream ever. And then I woke up and I thought I could do it because I was like 8 and it didn't work so well. You speed ahead, following the hound's cries, when a split-finger pine crashes to the ground in front of you. A massive bear lunges into the gap and roars. It catches sight of you. You turn and race in the opposite direction, leaping over the fallen tree trunk. Pine cones crunch underneath. The bear lumbers after you. Its hot breath washes over the back of your neck, filling your nose with the rank odor of slaughter. You see a clearing just past the thicket of broadleaves that sprint towards it. As you break through the foliage, you see a massive lioness curled in the clearing in front of you. With a last burst of energy, you divert your momentum and hurl yourself into the bushes. Any second now, you expect to feel the bear fall upon you, but a furious roar on the other side of the clearing draws your attention. The bear has stopped at the tree line. It swipes the empty air with claws large enough to rend armor, but does not advance. The lioness, for her part, twists her body into a tight coil. She growls, her ears pressed against her head, but she makes no move to attack the intruder. Kana gives a breathless laugh. Incredible. Have you ever seen beasts so large? I'd like to carry this appreciation for them into the future. Let's see if we can't slip past now. You back deeper into the foliage, keeping your eyes on the two mighty predators. As you crawl backwards, the heel of your hand brushes something furred. A warm sigh grazes your cheek. You freeze in place, slowly turning your head to see what waits behind you. Two amber eyes shine in the darkness. Perhaps we ought to take our chances with the bear. The eyes meet your gaze briefly, then turn to the standoff in the clearing. The hound behind you yawns, fangs flashing. When you turn back, the lion and the bear have disappeared. In their place is a stone wolf's maw, gaping wide enough to swallow you whole. Beyond is the outline of a temple, towering but indistinct. Blood must feed the maw, watcher. See that a true champion reigns. Turn back. So we have another small quest to do. The old queen and the new king. So we should talk to Hylia again and make that oath. Although if we make that oath, I don't know if we can take it back. And I don't want to make an oath to give souls back because I want to keep them for myself, honestly. That sounds like something my character would do. 1,000 souls worth of energy flowing through you? Could you imagine the power you would wield? That'd be awesome. A 1,000 human souls. Well, not human. 1,000 Kith souls. We are... Oh.
Something funny, big
Stop
man?
right there.
I'm sorry, it's just... When you started shouting, that poor man looked as if he'd piss himself.
Nothing seems to trouble you much, does it, Kana?
Not the time,
Oh,
guys.
I don't know. I never found much use in getting worked up over the little things.
There are
Maybe
ghosts that telling us to stop.
Mawa, it all just looks like little things.
Now be quiet, I want to listen to this. The Phantom
You're
Soldier...
in the wrong city, Inquisitor.
The Phantom Soldier raises his short sword to your chest.
Did you think you wouldn't be recognized here in your old home? I've seen your trials with my own eyes.
Are you going to say the rest of it? I have seen you light pyres with good people tied to them, people I'd known many a year. He seizes you by the throat, and your airway tightens. Whether real or imagined, you cannot tell. They deserve your confession. He raises the point of his sword, holding it a hair's breadth from your eye.
Suros, what are you doing?
Startled, the soldier releases you immediately and turns to face the speaker, a woman in a plain wool tunic, fully a head shorter than he, but somehow seeming to tower over him. You have seen this woman's face before, but from afar, bloodied and burned as she lay stretched across an iron wheel. At the moment, it is marked only with concern.
An assassin sent by the Inquisition, my lady, daring to approach our camp.
If he is so poor an assassin as to approach an armed guard in daylight, I should have nothing to fear. I would hear what this man has to say. She stares at him, she stares him down until he can no longer face her. He turns away, sour-faced, watching you through sidelong glances, his knuckles white around the pommel of his sword.
Surely this is some trick of my mind. I did not expect to see you again.
Iovara's eyes widen as she sees your face for the first time. I'm going to say Grand Inquisitor Thaus Ix Arcanon dispatched me here to spy on you. Iovara doesn't blink. Are things as desperate as that over there? I'd never have known. I hope your next assignment is more stimulating. Listening to my lectures is dull work for a spy. I hope there might be another reason, but you are here, and that is good enough on its own. Whatever your reasons, I've missed you over all these years. Having you here now, at a time when I'm surrounded by strangers, is a wonderful gift. I would like for you
to stay here, in our camp, as my guest.
No.
My lady Iovara, I beg of you. This is an Inquisitor. This is a desperate attempt on your life. The only way it can succeed is if you allow it to.
No longer able to remain quiet, the soldier approaches Iovara and places his hand on her shoulder, turning her aside. His voice is hushed, but by no means private.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. If I can't have faith in one man's ability to reason, once he knows the truth, what hope do we have?
She presses his hand away with the calm grace of the resolute.
My lady, he admits being a spy.
I do, yep.
That should make him less of a threat, wouldn't you agree? I have nothing to hide. All I see here is an opportunity to persuade someone who could help us. We have many former missionaries here. They are our most loyal, our most helpful. Many have died for us. These are not people we should be turning away. And if the Inquisition wants my life, they can have it. But they know as well as I do that my cause will not die with me.
That's also true, it'd make her a martyr.
Come. We have much to talk about.
Iovara beckons you somewhere behind her. Interesting. Alright, we have to kill an elven woman who has extended her life through years. I'm just gonna guess that she's in the Golden Arch. Or the Golden Grove, I should say. But we also have to go to the Blood Sands because there's the dwarf who has also extended his life through the years and needs to die as well. We want as many gods to give us their blessing as possible for this upcoming stuff. And we have 2 people to talk to. Actually, do we have time? No, we're at half an hour. I'm going to end this video here. We'll talk to Aloth and Durance in the next video immediately. And then we'll move on to the next part of the game. We are going to try and take on that ogre bounty hunting group again and the dragon again as well. The reason we're going to do that is we have now a Pallegina, and we also have gained a level since then, so hopefully, with any luck, being 10th level will help us out a little bit. And we're also going to use consumables. I know I don't use a lot of consumables in games. I'm really bad for it actually, but we have just scrolls, we have everything we need, like a scroll of valor we can do, and we have all these potions, just so many potions, damage reductions and accuracies, and what's this, deflection. We have traps we can put down to try and blow them up. We have bounding missile. We have all the things we need to kill this ogre. All we need to do is actually go there and do it right. So we're going to do that in the next video. Like always, if you guys have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.